Hello everyone and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. For those of you who are regular listeners, you will know this is not my normal voice. And that's because I'm bunged up with the cold. Yes, that's right. This is a phrase we use when we're talking about being congested. Bunged up. So I feel very bunged up today with the cold. I have a lot of congestion or catarrh in my nose and in my throat. But I'm definitely much better than I was. So today I thought we could look at a few descriptive terms, how we describe people, or rather the illness that they have when they catch cold. Well, catching cold is a very good place to begin. With illnesses, generally, we talk about them being caught. I caught the flu, I caught the cold, I caught a virus, I caught COVID. So the verb to catch is very, very important. Now, around the north of the UK, where they speak Gaelic, and the same in Ireland, you'll hear some variations to that, because in Gaelic you don't catch the cold comes upon you, and therefore when people talk in English, even if they don't know Gaelic, they tend to use Gaelic grammatical constructions, such as, oh, I have a terrible headache on me, or oh, I have the cold on me. The flu is on me. This is something which you will hear around the northern part of the UK, and also from people who have grown up or have been exposed to the northern part of the UK, and indeed Ireland. So I can say, for example, oh, I'm really bunged up today. I've got a heavy cold on me. We also talk about having a runny nose, or my nose is running. Of course, it's not our nose that runs, it's the catarrh inside our nose which runs. But, for example, if you went to the doctor, or these days called the doctor by telephone, he might ask, do you have a runny nose? Well, actually, what he might say, in plural, is any runny noses? Any sore stomachs? I don't know why doctors here always ask in the plural. I only have one nose, and I only have one stomach. But I think the question is referencing maybe on different days, any runny noses or sore stomachs, for example. But getting back to the cold, as well as saying, oh, I'm all bunged up, you can say, oh, I have a heavy dose. D-O-S-E, I have a heavy dose, or dose of the cold. That's another way to say it. So dose is also used to give medication, a dose of medication. And one of the biggest proverbs in English that you might have heard already is, oh, I want to give him a dose of his own medicine. It means I want to treat him in the same way as he treats me, or I'll give her a dose of the same medicine. So it means I'm going to do back to that person what they've done to me. Another thing that you might hear is, oh, I have a head cold, or don't worry, it's only a head cold. And that means that it's not something which makes you cough or something where your body is aching. They're just saying, I have a head cold. It's just some catarrh in my nose and throat. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a head cold. For example, for me, it's just a head cold. There's nothing in my chest or other parts of my body. So I have a heavy head cold today. Of course, another thing that people often say in English is, oh, I'm dying of the cold. And they say that just to show how they feel. Of course, they're not really dying, but to say I'm dying of the cold just puts it into perspective. You can see how much somebody is suffering. I'm dying of the cold. And that's it. So these are just a few terms that we use to talk about illness and the cold. Dying you can use to talk about anything, of course. Oh, I'm dying of the flu, I'm dying of the cold. We can even use it to talk about foods. Oh, I'm dying for a glass of milk, for example, or some water. We use it in other ways too. When we really, really want something, we can say we're dying for it. Let me give you an example. There's a party tomorrow night at my friend's house. Oh, I'm dying to go because he always has good parties. So there we are, dying. But everything else that we say usually is just describing the cold itself. You know, I have a heavy cold, I have a head cold, or this cold is terrible. I feel fine, or I'm feeling good despite my cold. So there we are. I hope you found this helpful, and I wish you all a pleasant day. Goodbye.